Hi everyone, very good morning. All right, so we are discussing product-based and service-based organization and how we should prepare for the product-based company. Okay, so first, a very brief categorization about product-based and service-based organization, and then there are multiple categorization within product-based company as well. Okay, so service-based companies have a typical setup where you will be working for a client. So let's say if I'm working for IBM and Cisco is my client, then I'm working on Cisco project. Okay, Cisco is client for us, but I am IBM employee. I will be working for them. I will be solving their problem and everything. Typically, there will be a project-based setup where we will be working, let's say, on a 6 month or a 1 year project, and we'll be delivering their requirements. Okay, but we will not be Cisco's employee, though we will be working on Cisco Salesforce instance, right? So now, consider the same scenario where you are directly working with Cisco. Cisco is using Salesforce for their own purpose. They are not serving anybody. Whatever business they are doing, with the help of Salesforce, they are accelerating that business. And then you are working for Cisco directly. In that case, you will be working in a product-based organization, a company who has a product to sell or a company who has a service to sell, and they are using Salesforce for their own use. They are not serving anybody else. Okay, they're using Salesforce for themselves only. Okay, when I say product-based organization, most of the time I'm talking about the top tier product-based organization like Google, Amazon, Facebook, not Facebook, Meta, Uber, and Walmart. Any kind of Fortune 500 company which is well established. They are not early age startup. Even my company Coursera is an early age startup, though it is a product based company, comes in a product based category, but it's an early age startup. It is not a well established firm like Google or Amazon. Okay, so now in within those product based organization also, there will be couple of organization who need data structure. There will be couple of organization who are just okay with your Salesforce knowledge. Okay, even those who are not asking data structure will then ask for system design. Okay, so I'll tell you what are the different rounds and all those other things also. But first understand that when I say product based organization, I mean the top level organization, not just the um, company who has a product. Okay. All right. Now, the first question comes in mind is that how much data is structure we should know, because data structure is the point where most of Salesforce developer fails, because we do not do that in our day-to-day life, and which is like very common. We do not get such kind of problem. We have to understand our limitations as well, is that we work in a pre-cooked environment. Like Salesforce is a pre-cooked environment, right? Salesforce is an environment where you need not to worry about the infrastructure that is already built. You need not to worry about database that is already. Guys, please go on mute, whosoever is not on mute already. Okay, so we work in an environment which is already a pre-cooked environment where we have to just worry about a problem solving from the business point of view. We do not see generic problem. We do not get generic problem. We do not think about data structure a lot because we have very limited data structure. You will be amazed to see that Salesforce do not even have the character data type. Okay, so we work in a very limited environment, and that is why when we go for a product-based organization interview, they open us up. Okay, they take our interview and we feel that we don't know anything. Sorry. So when I went for my first product-based organization interview, I felt like I don't know anything. Okay, I felt like I have to learn everything. In fact, I learned data structure for 6 months straight after that. Okay, then you start going through the guys. I'll go through chat later. Okay. No, 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 no. Okay. Okay. I will go through chat later once I complete what I want to say. Okay. So when I went for my first product-based organization interview, the real product-based organization interview, not the startups. Okay. The interview went really bad. I had no idea what to do. I was not prepared for that. What I was prepared for was trigger, batch epics, circle queries. They did not ask all such thing. They asked a simple problem and asked me to solve that problem. I had no idea how to solve that. Okay, and this happens with almost every one of us is that because we are a Salesforce developer. Now let's see from the company's point of view. Now Salesforce is a well-established thing. Okay. So even the well-established organization, when they take your interview, they understand that you are a Salesforce developer. That means you have certain limitations. They know that you will not be going that much deep in the data structure. They know your limitations. So now the trend is that if you are giving interview for a Salesforce developer role, even in a Fortune 500 organization, they will ask you limited set of data structure question. Okay, limited only in terms of data type. Okay, because we do not have, let's say, linked list. We do not have trees. We do not have those kind of data structures. So they will ask only questions which are relevant to us. So we have arrays, we have list, we have string. Okay, arrays and lists are almost similar. So we have string, we have arrays. These two are the data type on which you will get most of the questions in your data structure round if you are going for a company which is asking data structure. Okay. So the simple thing is that first start learning string. Uh, First start learning string, basic level, just very basic, like reversing the string, picking vowels from a particular string, join the string, and break the string in between. Those kind of questions you need to start learning first, and then we will go in the higher. Then we will go in the higher level to make yourself uh, comfortable with the basics. Go to the sandbox.io and put the link in the chat. This has a couple of basic simple examples like reversing the list, reversing the string, those kind of questions. Count the positive number, count the sum, those kind of basic questions are there. Go through that. This is very fundamental, but at least you should know that. At least whatever is written, whatever question and problem set is given in this site, you should at least know that no matter how many years of experience you have, even if you are freshers, they are computer science question. They are not Salesforce question. They are computer science question. Maybe the terminology we are using is in here is Apex, but again, they are computer science question. First, let's also understand why do they ask data structure? Okay, see, most of these organizations hire you because you are a computer science engineer. You have done your BTech or MBA or sorry, BTech or MCA or BCA from computer science. So they understand that you are a computer science engineer. These are the fundamentals of computer science. Okay, these problems comes from the fundamentals of computer science. So that is why they can ask these things even from the fresher as well. Reversing your name sounds very easy. Let's say if I give you right now, reverse your name. Okay, 90% of people will not be able to reverse their name in Apex. Okay, so if you feel you want to go deeper in data structure, then Apex might not be the language you want to choose. One other good thing is that when you go for these top tier organizations, they will give you choice whether you want to write your code in JavaScript, Python, Java, whatever language of your choice. Okay, and they will be completely okay with that. If you want to go very deeper, like no, I have to crack Google, no matter what it takes, I'll no matter how much I need to learn, I will learn reversing a binary tree. Then Salesforce Apex is not the language you need to uh, choose for that particular piece. You will continue working on Salesforce, that is fine. But in order to be able to solve those data structure problem, either go for Python or Java or go for the JavaScript because they are capable to do all those things. Okay. I chose JavaScript when I went for my round. JavaScript was good, easy, and I thought that JavaScript is connected to me via LWC. Just give me a second. Somebody is at. Sorry, guys. Okay, so what I was saying is that Apex, if you really want to go deeper, and companies like Google will definitely check you on deeper level. They will not ask basic question. Then you have to maybe select a better language which is capable to do all those things, right? Uh, But again, starting point will still be string because string is the most basic. Go for the string easy level from lead code, hacker rank, code chef, whatever, whichever UI you prefer. Okay. I like lead code. So lead code, you can choose lead code as well. Or if you want to go to any other, you can also do that. Okay. But you will have to have DS in your kitty, not of, at least of the basic level, because most of these product-based organizations do ask data structure, maybe not that deeper, but they will definitely ask. Okay. Now, let me share my recent experience. Okay. I went for the Zoom Info interview. Okay, and I've got two offers from one from Zoom Info, one for DocuSign. They both are product-based organization. Maybe not that well established, but still they're good. The good thing about product-based organization is that they give you good package. Okay. So if you see, if you compare it, say a developer will be earning sometimes more than the architect in a service-based organization. So that is the brief difference between them. Sometimes you also get RSUs. If the company is a listed company, you will also get the RSUs. Yes. No, we are not on Zoom Info. This is not Zoom Info, guys. This is Zoom, which is separate thing. Zoom Info is another thing. Zoom Info is a tool which provides you your marketing and sales team re information related to companies and everything. So they have a tool inbuilt, not just in Salesforce, but in the other technologies as well. Okay. So starting, let's say start first round was basically the technical round, which was focused on my Apex knowledge. There were total six round. Okay, I'll tell about each round. The first round was just focused on my technical skills. The round was taken by a technical architect. He had around 15 years of experience. He checked me throughout on all of my experience areas. He did ask me about my introduction, whatever work I have done, whatever areas I have touched on Salesforce. He was well versed with all those areas. He was well aware of those areas. He was good with his cross questions, and he just try to understand whatever I am saying, if I know those things or not, via his cross question. So let's say if I said that, okay, did you work on community cloud? He asked, I said, yes, I worked on community cloud. He will come up with couple of questions. What was the scenario where you were working on community cloud? How did you do that? How did you decided that, okay, let's go for the partner portal license? Why not partner portal plus? Why not community? Why not the customer portal license? So he asked a lot of cross questions. He also asked a lot of cross questions from CPQ because they use CPQ as well. Okay, so that's how it started. It was a good round. Um, it was about 40 minutes, I guess, not more than that. Yes. Now the winters have come. I'll have to, face this problem, cold. So it was about 40 minutes and it went really good, and we enjoyed the conversation. He was also very keen to see me more. Then there was a second round, that was the coding round. And in that coding round, he started with a SOQL query. He gave me a SOQL query, which was, I think, based on the aggregate function. I have written everything. I will create video on that. Don't worry. I'm just giving you a brief here. He started with a SOQL query. SOQL query was based on the aggregate function where we needed to find the average of all the opportunities associated with every account. Okay, so we just use the average function and use the group by account ID. Query was on opportunity, something like that. Okay, then he asked me a trigger scenario. If I'll have to update this value on account, then write down a trigger for that, which was like roll up summary trigger kind of thing. but we did it via aggregate query because I have already written the aggregate query. He was more keen on seeing how will I loop through this aggregate result query, and then how will I update the account from it. So it was, then I bulkified that code. Then I added exception handling, error handling on that, and ended the code. I think by this time only 15 minutes passed. Okay, so he had healthy 45 minutes after that. This was a 1 hour interview. Then he gave me question to um design a game board for n is to n uh, row and columns. Okay, so basically we needed to design a game board for tic-tac-toe game, and it should have n rows and n column. Okay. Now that is the point where I felt that okay, now this is going to get difficult, because when I asked in my first round whether they are going to ask me the data structure or not, he said that no data structure, we do not ask a lot of data structure. We will go into the trigger, LWC, SOQL query, DML, all those kind of things. Okay, so I was obviously not prepared for data structure. I was in my mind, I was thinking that they will not be asking data structure. But this guy was from US, and obviously it's their standard practice to ask data structure. Now, when you are in mid of an interview with an interviewer, you do not have time to think about all those things. You will have to start thinking about the problem. Okay, so problem was that we needed to build a game board for n is to n rows for this game tic-tac-toe. He said that, okay, how will you initialize the game board first? Okay, so initialization was very difficult because in Apex we do not have a multi-dimensional array. Okay, so I said that, okay, I will use map. Okay, I will use map, and inside the map I will have let's say on the key side I will have row ID, and on the value side I will have the column ID. He countered me with where will you store the value then? Like which user is putting cross, which user is putting zero. We tweaked our approach. We went with map inside map. So inside map was the main map. Key had the row ID. Then the inside map, the key has the value, the column ID, and then the value had the actual value, zero, cross, or blank. Okay. I could have used an enumerator here with the three data values, cross, zero, and blank, but I went with the string. I later on realized that I could have used enumerator here. These are the scenarios where you have to actually use the enum. Okay. Then I started this map, initialized the map, went on to the putting value, started the loop, went inside the loop, put the value in the map, came out of the loop. Okay, this was basic, like this was the initialization of the game board. Then he asked me about the UI point of view of it. How will you put validations on UI? How will you control that user is not putting zero on cross or cross on zero, or putting value which has already been filled? So we did couple of UI validations there. I added the errors on the trigger. Then he asked me about couple of edge cases also. So overall, by the like time has also passed by then, because we took a lot of time in the board initialization and deciding the data model of the game. These were obviously uncomfortable things for me because we do not do these things on day-to-day life. But again, by the end of it, I covered the edge cases, I put the validation, I bulkified my code, and I was able to kind of manage little bit of it. Okay. So on and on, it was okay interview. The feedback on which I got is that um, it was not so good. It was not that bad also. So he
Thank you.
obviously selected me. Then I was able to pass to the next round, but it was not that good because he was expecting a quick, better solution where my solution was highly dependent on him. He was constantly giving me hint. He was constantly poking me. He was constantly telling me, okay, how will you do this here? That thing should have come through me directly, like, okay, this is the edge case, I will go through this edge case. But he was ahead of me on all those points, because obviously he was not asking this question for the first time. He was ahead of me on most of the points. He was ahead of pointing out the problem. He was ahead on telling me that, okay, this might fail because of this. Okay, his data model was list inside list, and my data model was also very different from him. But then he accepted the data model, considering like, okay, let's start building it for that sake. Okay. So this round was not very good. It was an average feedback round, average round. The good thing about these product-based organization is that one round failure is not necessarily your interview failure. Okay, though I got the average feedback, and in normal service-based organization, if one interviewer say not selected or average or below average, then you might not go ahead in your rounds. But in the product-based organization, just one round will not decide your complete fate, unless unless it was a complete blender. Like had I said no, I will not be able to build a game, I do not know the data structure, I do not work on these kind of problems, then I might have got rejected there. But I started building the problem, and by the end I was able to build that also, though it was not very clean, though it was not the best possible solution. But it was like, considering the fact that that question was alien to me in the beginning, we were able to manage at the end. Okay, so even though I got the average feedback, I moved to the next round. Okay, next round was again a technical round that was focused more on the CPQ Salesforce, because they needed me for the CPQ part more. That was completely in the CPQ module, where what CPQ does, and all the complexities of CPQ, what kind of problems I face on CPQ, how do I resolve those problems, how do I handle the leap year in CPQ calculation, how do I handle the multi-currency, all those kind of problems. It was more about the problems I face, how I solve it, and then cross questions on those problems. So that was a cakewalk for me. I feed on those kind of interviews, because I know, because I'm driving those. When interviewer is asking me things, I know that I'm the driver. Whatever I am going to say, the cross questions will come from me. So that was the typical interview where I was driving the interview, though interviewer was thinking that he's driving, but typically I was driving that, because my next question was dependent on my answer. That is me. That means that I'm driving that. Okay, that interview went very well. It was only for 30 minutes, and 30 minutes, like 20 minutes I was talking. Okay. Next round was again on the coding round. Just a second, guys. Okay. Next round was again on the coding round. That was the CPQ coding. He asked, that is the day I created the short video on the relationship between opportunity and product, because he gave me a trigger scenario where uh, something was coming from product on opportunity, and we needed some automations there. So I felt that people need to know the exact relationship between that, because without knowing that, you cannot build something like that. Okay, so that interview started with the again CPQ problems, but then this time it was a lady, and no disrespect to lady, but whenever a lady take my interview, most of the time I get rejected. So I mean, based on my previous experience. So I was bit uncomfortable already. Uh, but it started with again trigger scenario. No, it started with couple of technical questions, like why do we use batch epics and queuable epics? What is something which cannot we do via queuable but can do via batch? Why batch is needed when queuable is there? If my data size is not very huge, why should I go for batch? Why can't we go for queuable? Queuable has an option of queuing things that can also be done in the batch. Then why queuable? Why not just batch? Those kind of questions which we go on our day-to-day technical discussions on our chat also. So it started with the asynchronous apex mostly, then went on to ask the life cycle hooks, why we actually use constructor, and why we actually need constructor. A couple of questions on the life cycle hook, and she tried to mess me up on the life cycle hooks part, but then I was confident on that, so that did not go anyway. Like, I was able to answer. Then she started the trigger scenario. Now, trigger scenario was that every time I update a contact status, when I'm changing the contact status, I associated user's profile should be updated with a custom field on contact. Let's say there is a custom field profile ID on contact. Every time I change status of contact, that profile ID field from contact should be copied on the user's profile. Okay. Sounds very easy, right? When I saw this question, I thought that, okay, yeah, this is going to be very easy. Like, I'll just loop through it and I will be able to update the user. Started building it. Okay. Got the list, got the set of IDs of contact. Okay, then I realized, okay, how user is associated with contact. Then that struck in my mind that, okay, she's talking about the community user. She's not talking about the normal user. I asked the cross question. So she said, how a user is connected with the contact. She told me, you answer it, right? That is my question. So I tell, okay, this must be a community user. She said, yes, that is a community user. So she did not told me about the community at all, but then she gave me a problem for the community. Now, if you don't know how a user is connected with a contact here, by which field, then you will not be able to build the solution further. What other thing also you need to think about is that you are changing the profile can change the visibility a lot, can control a lot of visibility, so that has to have a option of mixed DML here. So you'll have to go to the future method to do those things. So you will go to future method and then you will write those things. The key here is that if you know how user is connected via contact ID, then you will be able to build the further solution. That further solution needs to be bulkified. She told me, I'm giving you extra 15 minutes, go through your solution, bulkify it thoroughly, okay? And then tell me when it is done. So she was not very keen on talking while I'm writing code. Okay. Most of the time, how I do it, that I keep on communicating my approach, but she was not keen on understanding my approach. She was very keen on tell me when you are done so that I can review your code. Okay, so you will get both type of interviewers. Understanding them is very important. Once you understand, okay, she's not very much willing to see or understand your approach, just write it down and then if you have cross question, raise your hand. Okay. So I completed my code, bulkified that code, used the map. With the help of map, I created a map of um contact ID and user ID, so that when I further go and loop through the contacts, I have contacts from trigger. When I loop through the contact, I'll be able to get the user ID. Once I get the user ID, I'll create an instance of user record and put the ID there, and then I will update it with the contact profile ID. So that was the approach. Okay. Trigger was not that difficult, but if you don't know community cloud and the association between user and contact, you might hit problem there. Or if you do it without the future method, then also you might get the mixed DML error. So both these two were the tricky points of that trigger, and she was okay. Like, total time was 45 minutes given to me, but when we started this trigger, I think only 15 minutes were remaining. So she told me to rejoin on the same link, and I rejoined there and I was able to clear that. Now they gave me a portal, like text editor, something kind of, where they will write the problem, I will write the solution. They will have access to that so that they can remark, they can cross question, and they can put the questions there. So she was doing one bad thing I did there was I checked the size of the list, and if size is more than zero, Then I was doing the DML. We have discussed this in the class as well, is that when we do the DML and if size has zero, it will not count as a DML limit. So I needed not to check the size, but because of the habit of checking the list size and then doing the DML, I did that. It was not needed. She told me this is not required at all. One bad thing I did earlier was when I queried the user, I queried all the user. I just needed to query the user which have the same contact ID. She corrected my query and told me that this is not a good query, which was obviously wrong. I overlooked the scenario and queried all the user. I thought that okay, how many users will be there? Like, but then if you work in a community cloud, there could be thousands and thousands of users. So that was a wrong scenario. Okay, that was a wrong query, and she corrected me there, but otherwise, overall coding standards were good, okay, and I was excellent in answering all those questions as well. So she gave me positive, very good feedback, excellent feedback after that. Then there was a round with director. Okay. Now, based on my previous experience, director is a person. Obviously, he was technical once, but now because he is director, he is overlooking bigger things. So he never goes deeper in the problem. He will ask problems from the front, like, okay, how is your CI/CD pipeline? What will happen if you got a production bug? Those kind of problem, like not the exact deeper problem. So I had a perception of a director that director cannot go deeper, any more deeper than the technical person who took my technical round earlier, right? So I was chill there. I went on to that round. That person had 17 years of CPQ experience, not Salesforce. 17 years of CPQ experience. He opened me up on the CPQ. Like he kept on banging me on the CPQ related things which I have never heard of. He kept on asking the kind of modules which I have never heard of. He started with, why do we need order of execution? What will happen if there is no order of execution? I started with telling him, based on my experience, I started telling him with these multi-tenancy and all those multi-tenancy concepts and how these order of execution comes in picture, how governor limit plays a vital part in Salesforce because of the multi-tenancy. Started very well. Okay. Then he asked me, okay, let's say you have to build a new project. Okay. And you will have to, this is scratch. What will be your approach? I started telling him, okay, we'll start with the data model, we will go this and that and that. He summarized everything and then pointed out the problems. Like I did not discuss about the security because I was taken aback by the problem. I did not discuss about the security. He was very clear in telling me what I did not tell him and what he expected. Then when I started telling him, he stopped me. Okay, no, don't tell me now, let's move on to the next topic. So he was prepared for it. He was not casually taking the interview. He did prepare for the interview. Imagine a director is preparing to take your interview. That is the level of product-based organization because they do not hire so many candidates. They do not take a lot of interviews. When they take it very seriously. If candidate has cleared four rounds, they are serious about the candidate. They will take the interview very seriously. If you go and give interview in Accenture and you have a final round or managerial round, they will take it very casually, like because they do it 10 times a day. But these product-based organizations do not do these things 10 times a day. They rarely do it, and they are very damn serious about it because they have to work with that person for years, right? So at that time, I was like, okay, I did make some mistakes. Obviously, you will have to talk about security. Security is a main thing. I started with data model and then I kept on explaining the different integrations and all those things, but I missed the security. I should have talked about security after the data model or after creating the outline.
Security, as in the security model, right, Mohit?
Yes, yes. How you will set up the security? How will you take care of security? How will you take care of your
Hmm.
client's data? Like nobody else is able to see those things. You'll have to
Like all the
explain.
three levels, right? The org level and all,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He was not looking for deeper discussion on that, but obviously wanted me to at least mention that security is the major thing when we think
Mm-hmm.
about creating any application. So I missed that point, and that was a mistake, genuine mistake. Okay, I that time I could have gone in a different zone and thinking that okay, now I am going to fail, but I kept on my tempo with that because I know like he will not reject me just based on one question. Then he started asking, okay, how much will you rate yourself in uh Sales Cloud? Okay, when somebody asks you to rate yourself, that is a very tricky question because if you rate higher and if you're not able to answer question, that will be a negative impact. If you rate lower, then he will think that the person itself think low of himself. Okay, so you'll have to lie between the range of 7, 7.5, 6.5 if you are really not comfortable with the topic. So he first asked me about Sales Cloud. I said 7.5. He asked me about Service Cloud. I said 8 because I'm comfortable in Sales Cloud and Service Cloud. Then he asked me about the Community Cloud. I said 6.5 because I'm not working on community from last 2 years, but I have worked on it in past and I am confident on it. At the end, he asked me about the CPQ and I said 7. That was the turning point of this interview because the moment I said 7, 7 is a healthy number. 7 means you know everything and you are still exploring it so that if there is something which you don't know, you are still exploring it, but you know reasonably good. 7 is a good number, right? Then he asked me, okay, how you're using CPQ. I thought because I had a mindset that he's a director, he might know CPQ, but not that level. He did not tell me that he had 17 years of experience in CPQ. I have explored his LinkedIn, but I did not get to know that he has throughout CPQ experience. Like he has built the CPQ when Salesforce CPQ is not there. Okay, so I started telling him, okay, these are the different modules we use. That's how we use CPQ. Okay. He said that, okay, if there is a deal which is actually live currently and your customer says that I need additional licenses, how will you do the amendment? What is your amendment cycle? Okay. Now, in my organization, the CPQ part is handled by the RevOps team. So we do not do that CPQ part. Okay. We just do the configuration part on Sales Cloud. And if there is any additional code we need to write for CPQ. But again, all those things are done by the RevOps team. We do not do that at all. So I had to make the story here. I know the process. Immediately on the call, I created that, okay, we have three different modules, one for debooking, one for rebooking, and one for the amendments. And in this case, amendment module will get triggered via the Apex action and then via the CPQ action. And then we have a custom CPQ script written which works on it. Though I was able to answer that, he asked me, but why do you need the custom code for this when you have an amendment model out of the box inbuilt in the CPQ? Now we don't use that. Okay. So he's like, okay, but why don't we use that? Okay. So I kept on going in the circle there. And he understood that. He told me that, okay, Mohit, I'm looking for a developer who knows what is already there in Salesforce. I don't want an egoistic developer who will say that I will do it via code. I don't want people to write code if something is already there, right? I have seen people in past who just write code for everything and those things were very simple, like could have been done via the checkboxes. I nodded, I acknowledged the fact. Then we kept on talking about other modules, those which were alien to me. Okay, but because I also have experience in these things, I kept on saying, kept on telling them, okay, whatever things we use in CPQ. CPQ is not something which is like Sales Cloud, you'll have to use everything. Some companies use few things, some companies use just use a part of it. So CPQ is huge, and I was just amazed with his level of knowledge on CPQ and how he trapped me on almost everything on CPQ. Then he told me, because you rated yourself 7, that is why I am expecting more on the CPQ part. Okay. Then, but then I was able to make up on these with other knowledge, other things. Then he came to the service cloud. Now I was very scared because I rated myself 8 there. Imagine you have rated yourself 7 on CPQ and he was able to tore you apart. Now he's coming to a topic which you have rated yourself 8. So I was very scared that if this part went wrong, if this part goes wrong, then I will be gone because I have rated myself 8 and he will not take no for anything. Like 8 is huge. He started with entitlement and milestone, luckily. Okay. And that is why sometimes I say that you need to have a good answers of these definitions as well. See, entitlement and milestones are not something which people will not be able to tell. But if you answer it in the best possible way, then that eliminates the further question. So I was able to answer entitlement and milestone in such a way that he did not ask a single question from Service Cloud. Further, he understood that yes, I have worked on it. Okay. So that helped me. And then we talked about integrations. We talked about the solid principles as well. Those 5 solid principles: open close principles, and separations of concepts and everything. So it then it went on the positive direction. Once the CPQ part was over, I was confident. But even then also, I was very I learned so much from that interview because he was very point clear. He was he was very clear on his questions as well, and he kind of basically opened me up on the points where I was not very good at. The feedback was positive. uh like within 5 minutes I was able to get the feedback from HR. One very important thing here is that product based company HRs are very good. Product based organizations HR are very responsive, they are very good. You just need to give them some time and they will be ahead of you in telling you feedback. They will be ahead of you in helping. Always try to take help from HR, not only just for the product based but even for the service based. Try to take help from the HR. I asked HR, like, okay, when my first coding round went really bad, I got average feedback because he asked me to design the game. I was very scared of the coding round because I was thinking that, okay, what if he again asks a data structure question and I'm not able to tell and I get again an average feedback. I very specifically asked HR, tell me this, you have to ask this question whether they are going to ask me data structure or not. Okay, because I knew that if they ask me, I'm not prepared. I need some time. So I thought that, okay, if they say that they will ask me data structure question, I am going to ask them 15 days or 2 weeks during the Christmas holidays. At least I will revise all the string and array related problems. But she told me, though, okay, the first round, which was taken by a manager who was an architect, he that round went really good. So that manager, you will not believe, that manager called me the day when I had my CPQ round, and he told me, Mohit, revise order of execution, revise governor limits. They will ask these. Imagine a manager is calling you and telling you that revise these things because he was very keen on having me on his team. He really enjoyed the first interview. So sometimes building relationships, building good connections also help. Here, HR and my first manager, they both helped me clear this interview. It was not me who cleared. They helped me. They kept on pushing me. Otherwise, they could have easily, after my second technical round, they would have easily said that, okay, he got average feedback on coding. Coding is the average, coding is the main thing we need from the developer. So let's not move ahead. They could have easily said that. But because this person was in favor of me, having me, they again went for the second coding round. So one other thing is that it is very common to make mistakes. It's and having the anxiety, having the fear of failure, those all are very common. Like this happens. Why I'm telling you this thing openly, that I faced anxiety before my second coding round, is because to tell you that these are normal. This happens with everybody. This will happen with you also. It does not mean that you are not good enough. It just means that sometimes when things come suddenly, you feel that anxiety, and it is common. Just whatever you feel that your weak area, try to work on it, try to revise. If you feel that, okay, What if I'm not able to write trigger? Close down everything, write two good trigger scenarios on your own. You will start feeling confident about that. Same goes for LWC. Okay. So after that, there was a fitment round. This fitment round is very common in these product-based organizations. Like they will check you why you are trying to leave. Based on my resume, everybody will 100% ask why you have so many switches in your career. Tell me. They actually asked me about each switch, why you switched, and then why you again switched within a year. What was the need to switch again in a year? For each and every switch, they asked me the reason. Even if there was a 3 month gap, what was the reason for that? So they asked me about each and every minor details about my career. Like, okay, so from Paytm you went to Cognizant. There is a 3 month gap. Why there is a 3 month gap? Then you'll have to tell him with a logical reason. I said that okay, because I went to another city, Mumbai, with my for my sister, and then obviously it will take a month or so to settle down, and then started giving interviews, got the offer. So it took 3 months of the time. Then why you left Cognizant within 9 months? Then you'll have to tell him why you left Cognizant within 9 months. Then why, okay, you joined Cognizant, Cape Gemini. Good. You left the Cape Gemini within a year. What was the reason? What was so urgent that you left again within a year? Okay, then you joined IBM, worked there for 2 years and couple of months. You left IBM, you joined Nagarro. Okay, and then you again left Nagarro within 7 months, 8 months. Then what happened?
Kal siya ba, Ibin? Yeah, adama.
So they will ask those kind of questions a lot. You will have, I mean, having career gap, having gap between two jobs or multiple switch is not a bad thing if you have a proper reason. Otherwise, they obviously they will let you say whatever you want to say, but they will, in a product-based organization, they are taking each round very seriously. They are not taking interview just for the sake of taking interview. They are taking interview to get to know you and if you will be a good fit for them or not. That is their only concern. Okay. So if I will not say each and everything in a proper manner with a proper reasoning, they will say that, okay, this guy is frequently switching, maybe again switching for money. So then they throw a money card. They'll say that, okay, we cannot offer you more. Whatever your current CTC is, we can give you that only. Will you be comfortable? Now, if your reason was that you are not happy with the work, ideally you should say yes. Yes, because you will be getting better work and money is not your concern anyway, right? So sometimes they will try to trap you in those things, and with experience, you will have to come out of those traps. They ask me why you want to switch now. I tell them clearly, like it's a very good company. First thing, don't say bad about your company in which you are working, in which you have worked in the past. Very rarely, I mean, sometimes you have to say bad because they were actually bad, explain the scenario, but otherwise, generally avoid saying negative thing about past organizations. Okay, tell them the other reasons, right? But I told them that within 2 years, we have had four layoffs, and that puts a lot of negativity in you, and that this puts you in the back foot. I've always played in the front foot, and when I see people around me, they all are just trying to save their jobs. They are very defensive, and in this kind of mindset, we cannot build something good. We can just save our jobs, and that is not the time for me in this phase of my career. So he was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So try to come up with a good explanation on whatever you want to say, because a good explanation will eliminate a lot of cross questions as well. So these were the things I got the offer uh, to learn CPQ. Okay, see, many people say that for CPQ I can learn. I have just learned CPQ from that free tutorial on Udemy from Hidar Ambasar, and that was sufficient for me to start. Most of the things on CPQ you will learn when you actually work on a project. Good thing is that now there are a couple of playlists also. I think people share that in the group. I will look and tell you. To start with, there is a free Udemy course available with by Hriday Lamba, and start with that. That is very easy. And do not overthink about CPQ. If you have worked in a project, then you have to learn it. Otherwise, if you just know the basics, that is sufficient. Because it's an ocean where you don't know what kind of questions will come up. So unless you're confident, why I have to have this thing, because my company is using CPQ, so I had no option but to say that yes, I know CPQ, even though I was not working a lot on CPQ. Okay, let me give you CPQ course link, guys. Just a second. Yes, Introduction CPQ by Hildelam. It will start. I have learned from this. I found it very useful, easy. I'm amazed that someone like him has put this in the free section. Okay, so it's there. All right, so now the closing notes. Whosoever is preparing for product-based organization, get to know the basics of string and arrays, because these are going to be the data types on which you will have most of the problems. They know that you are a Salesforce developer, so they will not go very deep on data structure problems, but even the starting level problem needs a bit of focus and study. Okay. Like I said, if I ask you to to pick the vowels out of a large string, it will need you to sort out that array. It needs you to loop through the array. It needs you to convert that string into an array and then loop through that array and pick each and every vowel out of it. So it sounds easy, but it is not as easy when you actually start writing. So we'll have to um, give a dedicated study like an hour or two. The very basic thing is that one problem a day. Just keep on doing. If you have 6 months, after 6 months, you will be good enough to clear these kind of questions. If you are very focused, you'll have to it. Then at least you can give 2, 3 hours. Then you can aim for companies like Google. But again, understand that very limited opportunities, very competitive environment. The margin of error is so thin that even if you make a smaller mistake, that might cost you the interview. And you will have to have a very strong mindset that do not feel negative in smaller problems, or like, okay, I got rejected, now I'm not good enough. Those kind of things you need to avoid. You know that whatever journey you're trying to achieve is not going to be an easy journey. It is very easy to clear a service-based organization interview. Like, I am not trying to oversay this, but I know that service-based organizations interview is very easy. That is the best chance if you do not have job. But product-based organizations do take hard interviews, because they do not take a lot of interviews. They take limited interviews and they want good people. Okay.
Hi,
Sorry.
Mohit.
Yes, Chaitanya, go ahead.
Yes, I talked with a person who is working in the Apple company or as a Salesforce developer. He was having 8 to 10 years of experience. He told me that I should be having a good amount of experience before applying on Apple or something like these big product-based companies. Also, he told me that I should be having an experience in good companies, uh, like the named one companies. So is it true that we should be having a good amount of experience before applying into these companies? Also, I talked with one of the person who is working as a contractor in Meta. He also told me that I should be having means at least 4 to 5 years of experience before applying into the Meta, as there are no openings for 2, 3 years of experience
Yep,
people.
they generally do not hire on that level. Even when I first got call from Google, that I had around 5 years of experience. So that is correct. Apple do not very rarely hire from India. So people outside India would have higher chances. From India, Google and Amazon, they do hire. Apple and Meta, they do not hire from India for these kind of positions, Salesforce kind of positions. I mean, I have not seen Apple and Meta hiring for Salesforce developer from India. But Amazon and Google definitely does. If you have to have only good companies in your resume, that is not necessary. Do not let that narrative set your mindset that, okay, I am not working in a good company, so I might not get in Google. That is not true. If you are good enough, if you see, sometimes it is about luck also, that when you were open for the job, you got the position open, you got the opportunity. It is also about luck. But make yourself ready. Luck sometimes will favor you, sometimes might not. But if you are ready and all things are aligned in a proper manner, you will get a call from them. Make your LinkedIn really good. Whenever I got call from a product-based organization, most of the time they came from LinkedIn. I did not apply for Google. I did not apply for Coursera. I did not apply for ZoomInfo. I did not apply for DocuSign. They connected me via my LinkedIn and they called me and they searched for me. So LinkedIn is very important in that case. Matlab, I am telling from my experience. I'm not saying that other things are not good. Referrals are also good. If you have people working there, they will like. If I'm currently working for Coursera, Coursera opens a position, I'll be the first one to know, right? Even before the position when goes live, I must be knowing that okay, we are about to open a position. So having good referrals in the or in the companies where these people are working will also make a good impact. With that, my company will start hiring next quarter. So, but I might not be there till then. So let's see. Then they'll have to have my backup as well.
Do they also require a good amount of experience,
Uh,
Coursera?
no, we will not be hiring very high experience. Positions will be mostly around 3 years of experience, not more.
Okay. Also wanted to share a resource for DSA and system design. There is a website named as Take You Forward. He has listed all of the questions also, and also each question he has solved in the three different approaches: the brute force as well as the optimal. And there is a system design course. The DSA course is free,
Yes, the
and this is
put this in our chat. Those who are preparing
yes.
will definitely get help.
And for
Nitish,
the
are you
system design, yes, there is a Gaurav Sen person who has a course on interview ready. He has a very good course. I've heard from many people who is working in Microsoft, Amazon people. They all suggested the same course version because he has also recordings. He has also mentioned the recordings discussion along with the managers regarding the applications, different applications. That
Okay,
is also beneficial.
good, good. Guys who are focused on this definitely do, but those who just think about this casually, this will take a lot of time and energy, a lot of focus. Okay, so this is a path where you should be very mindful if you want to go there or not. Okay, be very careful. See, product-based company has obviously, if you see it from outside, you will see it, okay, so many glitters, good package, good work, um, a lot of new learnings and everything, but it's not necessarily true all the time, right? I mean, I'm not demoting anybody. I'm just saying that, I mean, even this coin has two sides. Okay, guys, he'll share link in the group, and I will share that link with other groups if we have people from multiple groups. Don't worry, whatever we have discussed, we will be covering that. All right, anybody else has any question, guys? Come on. I will share my DocuSign interview next time, maybe within midweek. That was also a roller coaster.
Hi Mohit.
Yes.
My name is Bhavya Bhatia, and like currently I am working in the MetaCube, and I have almost 2.7 years of experience. And I have offer from Infosys. and they are paying me like 13.5, which include 10% of variable. And my current CTC is like 10 LPA. सो मैं लाइक अभी मैं एक नए प्रोजेक्ट में ट्रांसफ़र हुआ हूँ मेटा क्यूब में। तो इट इज़ बेसिकली लाइक मेरे को ऐसा लगता है वो सपोर्ट प्रोजेक्ट है, क्योंकि हमको फेल्ड अपेक्स टेस्ट क्लासेस फिक्स करने हैं उनके, जो वो फ्लो में करते रहते हैं। तो उसकी वजह से टेस्ट क्लासेस फेल होते हैं, तो वो हमको फिक्स करने हैं। एंड तो मैं इसमें कंफ्यूज हूँ, बट उसके अंदर एक अच्छी बात यह है कि मतलब मेरा डायरेक्ट क्लाइंट से कम्युनिकेशन है, और जो भी रिक्वायरमेंट होती है डायरेक्ट मैं क्लाइंट से ही करता हूँ। तो मैं इसी में कंफ्यूज था कि शुड आई ज्वाइन इन्फोसिस और लाइक आई शुड गो फॉर इट
पैसे
इन
कितने दे रहे हैं
मेटा।
इन्फोसिस वाले?
इन्फोसिस वाले 13.5 दे रहे हैं, और राइट नाउ मेरा 10 है।
और आप कितने दिन से हो इस करंट कंपनी में?
मेरे को हो गए 2.7 ईयर्स।
हाँ, तो 2.7 हो गए अच्छे खासे।
तो मेरे को मतलब ये लग रहा है कि मेरे को, मेरे पर्सनल फीलिंग ये कर लेना चाहिए, क्योंकि एक फियर भी निकल जाएगा फर्स्ट स्विच का जो अभी तक है, और ऑफर भी है हाथ में। तो अभी मेरी 20 फरवरी को ज्वाइनिंग डेट दी है, तो मैं 2 महीने का अभी लाइक कल परसों में अप्लाई कर दूंगा रेजिग्नेशन। तो नोटिस पीरियड 2 महीने का है, तो
और दो
लाइक मेरे को।
और इन 2 महीनों में और भी तो इंटरव्यूज दोगे ना? लाइक लेट्स से ये 13 दे रहे हैं, बट ऐसे जरूरी थोड़ी ना कि 13 ही तुम्हें मिल पाएगा, एट मैक्स 15 भी मिल सकता है।
हाँ, वही वही।
देखो, प्रोजेक्ट बुरा नहीं है। अगर तुमको लगता है कि नहीं, मुझे प्रोजेक्ट के लिए छोड़ रहे हो जॉब, तो दैट इज नॉट गुड। बट हाँ, अगर तुम्हारा टाइम हो गया है, 2.7 ईयर इज अ गुड टाइम। ऐसा भी नहीं है कि मतलब एक ही कंपनी में टिके रह जाना है। सैलरी के बारे में भी सोचना है हमें। ऑब्वियसली एट द एंड पैसे मैटर करते हैं। ठीक है।
हाँ।
मेरे हिसाब से तुम्हारी जगह मैं होता, मैं तो डेफिनेटली स्विच मार चुका होता। मतलब अभी रिजाइन डाल दिया होता, और मैं खेल रहा होता कि और मेरे को 15 मिल जाए कहीं से, 17 मिल जाए कहीं से। ठीक है। तो मेरे ख्याल से तुम्हें भी वही करना चाहिए, और ये तो है ही बाद में। मतलब यहाँ तो क्या ही बिगड़ेगा।
हम्म।
ठीक है।
और
गो फॉर इट मेरे
हम्म।
हिसाब से तो।
ओके, थैंक यू भाई। मेरी एक और क्वेरी थी कि जैसे मतलब मतलब मैं जैसे प्रैक्टिस करता हूँ ट्रिगर, तो लाइक यार भूल जल्दी जाता हूँ मैं, मतलब ऐसे रिकॉल कर पाता चीज़ों को, तो
देखो,
लाइक
ट्रिगर
इस।
ट्रिगर को याद रखने की कोशिश ही मत करो। बने ही भूलने के लिए, बट ये है, ये कॉन्फिडेंस रखो कि प्रॉब्लम आएगी, मैं उसको सॉल्व करूंगा। ठीक है। जैसे मुझे कोई भी प्रॉब्लम आती है, तो मुझे ये नहीं याद रखना कि इसका मैंने ट्रिगर कैसे लिखा था। वो याद ही नहीं करना। हर बार नए तरीके से बनाओ। प्रैक्टिस से ही ये सही होगा, और कोई तरीका नहीं है इसका। एक बार प्रैक्टिस अच्छी हो जाएगी ना, फिर तुम्हें अपने आप कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाएगा कि भाई इसका एक सेट बनाऊंगा, इसके बाद मैप बनाऊंगा, मैप के बाद नीचे लूप में मैप से वैल्यू ले जा करके अपडेट करा दूंगा। वो हाई लेवल जो स्ट्रक्चर है ना, बस वो तुमको याद रखना है। अंदर का कुछ नहीं याद रखना, सब अपने आप धीरे धीरे प्रैक्टिस से हो जाएगा। वो याद रखने की जरूरत ही नहीं, याद रखने का प्रेशर ही मत लो। ठीक है,
हम्म।
तो बोलने वाला काम ही खत्म हो जाएगा। हर बार नए सिरे से शुरू करो। एक टाइम आएगा जब इतनी प्रैक्टिस हो जाएगी ना कि तुम्हें याद रखने का कुछ पड़ेगा ही नहीं। क्योंकि देखो,
हम्म।
कितने ट्रिगर याद कर लेंगे हम लोग? ऐसे पॉसिबल ही नहीं है। मैं जब शुरू शुरू में था ना, मेरी कोडिंग बहुत खराब थी, तो मैं सोचता था रट लूं। अब कितने ट्रिगर रट लोगे? लेट्स से 40 ट्रिगर का मुझे एक प्लेलिस्ट मिली, या 40 ट्रिगर का मुझे डॉक्यूमेंट मिला, वो 40 मैंने रट डाले। और इंटरव्यू में गया, उसने 41वां पूछ लिया, वहां पे रह गया। है ना? तो मतलब फिर मैंने ये रियलाइज किया कि इसको रटने का कोई मतलब ही नहीं है। अगर मुझे पता है कि किस चीज को कैसे करना है, उतना ही बस याद रखो। उसके बाद जो भी चीजें तो बदलती ही रहनी है। तो अगर लॉजिक हमने सोच लिया कि हाँ ऐसे करना है, तो ठीक है। दो चार अच्छे अच्छे ट्रिगर लिख लो, जैसे वो ग्रैंड पेरेंट वाला ट्रिगर हम लोगों ने किया था, वो कर लो।
हम्म।
एग्रीगेट क्वेरीज के ट्रिगर कर लो।
इसका
रोल अप
पता है मेरे
समरी के
को।
ट्रिगर कर लो, और उनसे कॉन्फिडेंस गेन करो कि हाँ कुछ आएगा तो कर लेंगे। बस उतना ही है,
हम्म।
और कुछ बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है। ठीक है। ट्रिगर,
लाइक।
और उनको फ्लो से भी करो। जो भी कर रहे हो ट्रिगर, तो उसको फ्लो से भी करो। ठीक है। अब
हाँ।
तुम्हें समझ में आ गया कि कौन सी वो चीज है जो हम फ्लो में नहीं कर सकते, जो हमें ट्रिगर ही चाहिए होगा। क्योंकि कभी कभी ना इंटरव्यू में पूछ लेता है, भाई ऐसा एक सिनेरियो बता दो जो तुमने फ्लो से शुरू किया बट फ्लो से हुआ नहीं, फिर तुमने ट्रिगर लिया। है ना? तो उन सारे सिनेरियो को भी हमें कवर करना है।
हाँ।
ठीक है।
ठीक है
चिल मारो, इतना इतना लोड मत लो। ट्रिगर याद रखने की हमें जरूरत ही नहीं है। भूल जाते हैं, बहुत अच्छी बात है, भूल जाते हैं। नेक्स्ट टाइम आएगा फिर से लिखेंगे। ठीक है।
ठीक है भाई, थैंक यू।
चलो, थैंक यू भव्या। एनीवन एल्स? अनुभव, पूजा?
Um, yeah, hi Mohit. Venkat here. So
वेंकटेश।
Venkatesh.
हाय वेंकटेश, टेल मी।
Yeah, Mohit. So regarding DSA, so as you said, like in Salesforce, we don't have that much of since we have been limited to particular data structures. So we need to look on the data structure for the binary. those things and all, Mohit, because it was a vast topic when we goes to a data structure, Mohit.
Yeah, I don't think you need to go through that deep. When I gave my interview, interviewer was aware that we are a Salesforce developer. We do not have those kind of data model. We do not work or deal with those kind of data model. So they still remain in the array and the string only. They ask the fundamental question more. They do not go in the reversing the binary search tree or those kind of problem. They more towards the searching sorting kind of problem and giving you the data types of array and list and string only. So I don't think you need to spend that much time to go on that deeper level unless you feel that no, I have to learn it more, maybe even the extreme difficulty level, like I want to become the lead coder, those kind of things. Otherwise I don't think that is required. From the Salesforce point of view, if you can do, if you have time, if you have willingness to do, very good. But otherwise, I don't think it is very fruitful from a Salesforce point of view.
Sure, Mohit. Thank you.
Okay, let's see.
Hi Mohit.
Hi, Himanshu.
Yeah, actually I wanted to ask that are there any less opportunities as of now? The market is not good to switch. Like for example, I'm having like 3.8 year of experience and I'm currently in Infosys. But like, is there any like the good market is there or not? Like, are there any opportunities?
Surprisingly, I mean, this is December. Surprisingly, in December, I am getting a lot of calls. People related to me are also getting calls, which was not the case earlier. So, whichever positions they have opened, they want to close before Christmas so that they can go on leave easily. But don't worry, on the January, once they come back from January 15th, new positions will open up. Q1 is always a very good quarter for the new jobs because companies come up with new budget, companies come up with new plans, companies come up with the expansion. So January will be a very good time for you to switch. Use these 15 days, remaining 15 days of December to make yourself strong. Write down couple of LWC on your own in the Google Doc or something, not on the VS Code. Try same thing with the trigger. Make yourself ready to write the code. People are asking people, to write the LWC code as well now. You will not believe, I gave interview in Tech Mahindra. They asked me to write the LMS code. And I was like, "Are you serious? You want me to write LMS code in the interview itself? Like, you need to ask me what is LMS, how it does, and all those things. But you are asking me to write code LMS and communicate between VF page and VF page and LWC. Though I was able to write, I was very rude when I was answering that question because I was clearly very unhappy. This is not, I mean, you people should not ask LMS and these kind of things in an interview. If you're asking on a high level, it is good, but you're asking candidate to write the LMS code without giving him tool to. And I communicated that like I do not think this is a good thing to like how will I create LMS channel? That I'll have to just communicate, right? I have created an LMS channel and then I'm going to import it. Then I'm going to, you ask me why I'm importing subscribe, why I'm importing the message context, those things. But asking it is like very, very bad. But people do that. See, the candidate who was taking my interview had around 4 years of experience, so I cannot expect much from him. He has yet to learn so many things about the interview preparation also. But then in interviews, we cannot say that this is right or this is wrong. Interviewer is right, so we have to write. So practice a lot. And regarding market, surprisingly, it was good in November, December, more than my expectation because I think I started looking around November. And trust me, on the level where I am looking for job, there are very less jobs. There are very rare jobs. 10 years of experience is something where you do not get a lot of job. 3 to 5, 6 years is the bracket. 3 to 7 is the bracket where you get most of the jobs in Salesforce. Okay, so don't worry, there'll be a lot of jobs and you will get them in January. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mohit.
Come on, mute. Hi, Aishwarya, are you still there? How's your job going?
Hello, Mohit.
Hi, Shaurya.
Yeah, it's going fine, Mohit.
Right, very nice. Hi, Ayushi. So long. Hello, Swapnil. How are you? Hi, Rajesh. Hello, new
I
people.
was I was just waiting for that. Let complete yours, then share my experience as the
Yeah,
topic is on the product-based company.
sure, sure. Hi,
Yeah,
Prashad.
so
How are
can I,
you? Yeah,
can I
just
start?
give me a minute. Let me scroll through the people and then I will give you the mic. Okay.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Hello, Prashad. Ayushi, why are you not speaking?
Hi Mohit, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? So long. How's it going?
अच्छा चल रहा है मोहित कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बेस्ड जॉब है अच्छा चल रहा है
ओके।
अभी तो
काम सीखने को मिल रहा है कि नहीं?
बहुत ज्यादा एक्सपोजर मिल रहा है
बस काम सीखो, उसके बाद तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बेस को परमानेंट होगा और मतलब काम ही है जो है मेन, बाकी सब तो अपने आप सही हो जाएगा। बाकी मैं
एक्सपोजर तो
समझी।
बहुत हाई है बट अभी स्विच करना है फुल टाइम में वो देख रही हूँ
मेरे यहाँ निकलने दो, मैं करवाता हूँ कुछ ना कुछ। ठीक है। हेलो
जी
मेघा,
बिल्कुल
कैसे हो?
हाय सर। बढ़िया।
कैसा चल रहा है सब लोगों का? संडे का क्या प्लान है? व्हाट्स स्पेशल प्लान गाइस?
ठंडी है
विकास।
सर, नो प्लान्स।
किसी के क्रिसमस न्यू ईयर के स्पेशल प्लान? शेफाली, सौरभ, मंदिर जाएंगे। ओके, ठीक है भाई, मंदिर चले जाना। अनिकेत, प्रसाद ने ज्वाइन किया है बट आई थिंक फोन ऐसे ही रख दिया है।
Yeah, hi
सर
Mohit.
कैसे काम
गो
चल
अहेड गो अहेड।
रहा? ओके।
हेलो मोहित।
हेलो, या प्लीज गो अहेड।
मैंने सुना है ये डेलॉइट ईवाई डेलॉइट पीडब्ल्यूसी में ज्यादा काम होता है, मतलब मोस्टली मैंने ऐसे ही सुना है, वो लोग बहुत ज्यादा काम देते करके। मेरी रिसेंटली एक फ्रेंड भी ज्वाइन किया था डेलॉइट, उसने भी कहा कि बहुत ज्यादा
भाई
काम था।
डेलोइट में बहुत काम होता है। डेलोइट में बहुत काम होता है। डेलोइट में लोग जब छोड़ते हैं तो काम के प्रेशर या काम से परेशान होकर के छोड़ते हैं। मेरा एक फ्रेंड था, मैं मुंबई में जब था तो मैं कॉग्निजेंट में था, ठीक है। तो वो लोग मतलब ऐसे रहते थे फ्लैट लेकर के, तो तीन चार लोग रहते थे, तो उनमें से एक लड़का डेलोइट में जॉब करता था, ठीक है। तो क्या हुआ, उसकी इतनी मीटिंग चलती थी, हम लोग पार्टी कर रहे हैं, हम लोग बियर पी रहे हैं और वो बेचारा मीटिंग करता रहता था, सिगरेट बहुत पीता था, बंगाली था वो। लिटरली एक बार वो सिगरेट पीते पीते ऐसे हाथ में सिगरेट पकड़े पकड़े सो गया, और सिगरेट से उसका जब हाथ जलने लगा तब उसकी नींद खुली। इतना काम करते, तभी मेरे को डेलोइट से डर लगता है कि यार यहाँ इतना काम मेरे को करना ही करना है। तो हाँ, काम तो होता है बट
हाँ
मिलता है। देखो, फेज के पे डिपेंड करता है। अगर तुम्हारा एक्सपीरियंस 3 ईयर 4 ईयर वाला जो फेज है ना, उसमें तुमको एक्चुअल में ऐसा चाहिए कि काम ज्यादा मिले, तब तुम जा करके जब 5 ईयर्स पे पहुंचोगे ना, तो तुम्हारे पास 7 ईयर्स की नॉलेज होगी। प्रॉब्लम कहाँ पे आती है, जब कोई 5 ईयर्स पे पहुंच जाता है बट उसकी नॉलेज 3 ईयर्स की रह जाती है, तो फिर क्या होता है ना कि वो उसको थोड़ा सा ऐसा लगता है कि यार आई एम नॉट गुड इनफ वाली फीलिंग आती है, आई एम नॉट गुड इनफ टू बी अ सीनियर सेल्सफोर्स डेवलपर। तो वो सारा चीज रहता है। अगर कहीं पे ज्यादा काम करने को मिल रहा है अर्ली स्टेज में तुम्हारे करियर में, तो कोई बहुत दिक्कत की बात नहीं है। मैं पेटीएम में था तो हम लोग ने कभी भी 14 घंटे से कम काम नहीं किया, किसी भी दिन 14 घंटे से कम काम नहीं किया, बट उसका फायदा मुझे आगे मिला। तो एक कंपनी तो ऐसी होनी चाहिए जिसने तुमसे बहुत काम कराया हो, तुम्हें बहुत सिखाया हो। काम कराना इज नॉट वो, सीखने को मिलना चाहिए। अब कोई तुमसे बोल रहा है कि मैनुअली यूजर बनाते रहो 15 घंटे, तो उससे तुम नहीं सीखोगे, है ना। सीखने वाला काम अगर कोई करा रहा है, तो अगर ऐसा 1 साल का भी फेस आ गया तो वो 1 साल में बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा। ठीक है।
Yeah, hi Mohit.
ओके।
Vikas here.
यस, हाय विकास, टेल मी।
सर मतलब कि अभी ये ओमनी स्टूडियो और सीपीक्यू का ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट है, तो वो कम्प्लीटली एक्चुअली नया है ओमनी स्टूडियो और सीपीक्यू मेरे लिए, क्योंकि मैंने सेल्स और एक्सपीरियंस पे काम किया है। तो इसके लिए ऐसे गुड रिसोर्सेस मतलब कि उन्होंने भी एक एक्सटर्नल मतलब कि इन्फोसिस ने ट्रेनर भी प्रोवाइड किया था, पर वो इतना गुड नहीं थे, मतलब कि उतना कुछ सीखने को मिला नहीं। तो फिर वो देख रहा था कैसे मतलब कि खुद से सीखूं, तो 0 to 1 एक कोड प्लेलिस्ट भी देखा था यूट्यूब पे। बट ऐसे थोड़ा प्रोजेक्ट वाइज थोड़ा हैंड्स ऑन करने से ज़्यादा बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग होता।
हो जाएगा। देखो क्या है ना, अब तुम जिस स्पेस में हो सकता है तुमसे ज्यादा किसी को भी ना मालूम हो, है ना। तो ऐसे ही धीरे धीरे एक्सप्लोर करके बढ़ेगा। प्रोजेक्ट अच्छा है, काम नया है, तो सीखने को मिलेगा। सब सब धीरे धीरे हो जाएगा, चिंता मत करो कि नहीं होगा। या कुछ नहीं है। प्लेलिस्ट यूट्यूब पे भी अवेलेबल है थ्योरी की, सेल्सफोर्स भी अवेलेबल है। सेल्सफोर्स सपोर्ट को भी यूज करो, जहाँ पे कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगी भाई तो कंपनी के काम कर रहे हो तो सेल्सफोर्स सपोर्ट को भी यूज कर सकते हो। और सब होगा धीरे धीरे, ठीक है। नया टॉपिक जब होता है ना तो ऐसे ही होता है कि किसी को नहीं पता होता, तो उस केस में जिसको थोड़ा भी पता होता है ना वही लीड करता है। तो डोंट वरी, सब हो जाएगा। ओमनी
हम्म।
स्टूडियो में थोड़ा सा नया है ना तो ये रहता है। अभी मैंने खुद भी नहीं किया हुआ है इसमें ज्यादा कुछ काम, सीखूंगा कि लेट्स से। ये लोग बोलते हैं प्रोडक्ट बेस में ज्यादा लर्निंग होती है। मेरा एक्सपीरियंस तो थोड़ा अलग है। बट कभी कभी क्या होता है ना प्रोडक्ट बेस में क्या होता है कि क्योंकि वो लोग
I'm going to match you, Mohit.
हाँ कभी कभी ना क्या होता है कि अपने वहां पे वो अपने यूज के लिए सेल्सफोर्स यूज करते हैं तो वो बहुत स्टेबल हो चुका होता है, तो फिर वहां पे मतलब कोई बहुत ज्यादा कुछ करने को भी नहीं होता कि नहीं। बहुत सारे टूल तुम कैसे सीख लोगे, दूसरी टीम वाले तुम्हें सीखने नहीं देंगे ना। अगर तुम ही सीख लोगे तो उनकी क्या जरूरत है। लेट्स से तुम म्यूलसॉफ्ट सीख लोगे तो म्यूलसॉफ्ट टीम की क्या जरूरत है, वो तुम्हें क्यों सीखने देंगे। तो हाँ ये भी है कि कुछ टूल ऐसे होते हैं जो जिनका कोई मालिक नहीं होता, वो तुम सीखते रहो। तो बहुत वही मैंने बोला ना, इस सिक्के के दोनों पहलू हैं। कोई इतना वैसा नहीं है, बट मुझे तो सर्विस बेस में ज्यादा सीखने को मिला है। मेरा जो करियर ट्रैजेक्टरी है उसमें मैंने जो सीखा है ज्यादातर सर्विस बेस में सीखा है। बट हाँ ठीक है, पैसे के लिए प्रोडक्ट बेस वाज गुड। एफएसएल मतलब फील्ड सर्विस लाइटनिंग, साई।
हाँ, यस।
ठीक है। अब
एक्चुअली
नीतीश कहाँ पे? नीतीश यस आई जस्ट गिव मी अ मिनट। नीतीश आर यू देयर? इज ही ऑन कॉल? आई डोंट थिंक ही वॉज देयर अर्लियर। ओके, ठीक है। मुझे बेसिकली एक लिंक अपने कोर्स में एक डॉक्यूमेंट बनाना है जिसमें ये सारे लिंक्स ऐड करते रहने हैं, तो मैं किसी एक को ओनरशिप देना चाहता हूँ, ठीक है। बट अभी वो है नहीं। Yes, sorry, Venkatesh. Yeah, it's my habit when someone start the Hindi na, I'll go keep on going in Hindi and then I forget to switch back to English. So sorry. This happens with YouTube also. Now you guys must have seen that I'm not creating videos in Hindi on YouTube, or uh, I mean I'm a bit less active on YouTube because of my own interviews and all those things. I'm creating notes of all those interviews. I will come up with uh, videos on those interviews. Okay. Chalo guys, I'll have to go for my breakfast also, and my son is also waked up now, so I'll have to take care of him. I'll see you
थैंक यू।
guys. I'll share my DocuSign experience. Swapnil, next time I will give you mic. Sorry, I have to go. If you guys want to continue, I can make you host, but I don't think it will work. This is my company's
No,
home.
no, sure. It's just like the same experience. You just fall for product base. It is the same. There is no learning. The expectation is too much high without any documentation.
Yeah.
Like still within the 4 months, they just kept me on the escalation that I might be lose a job, that I might be apart from the project.
Yeah. It happens. Documentation, there'll be no documentation. I'm the
Yeah.
documentation.
Right. So like,
Guys, I'll talk to you very soon. A lot of holidays are coming. Those who are preparing, use this time. This is the best time for you to prepare yourself and get ready for January jobs. Okay. Thank you. I'll talk to you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you,
थैंक
Mohit.
यू।
Thank
थैंक
you,
यू।
Mohit.
you know,
Thank you.